So this work week really threw off my plans in regards to what I wanted to get done with music. For those who don't know, I am a software engineer full time, as well as I am pursuing my goals in music. And with that comes me trying to balance them both, which sometimes can be a little tricky because I do work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, for a company doing software. And then I do have free time, I'm focusing all of that on music, which can be a little tricky because with doing music in today's era, it also requires you to do video content. So I'm having to do a lot of that as well too. So with the way this work week went, it kind of prevented me from getting a lot of things done. And the reason being is because with software, it's not always complicated, or I guess complicated is not the right word. It's not always draining each day. Usually for me at least, when I'm coding, when I'm actually doing hardcore coding type stuff, it doesn't really take a lot of my energy out by the end of the 8 hour shift. However, when it comes to communicating and talking to people each day, that's when it does. I feel like because my social battery kind of dies. And so this past week, because we're starting a new project, it involved a lot of requirement gathering, which involves us talking to various stakeholders who all have an opinion. And sometimes those opinions conflict. And when those opinions conflict, you're kind of the one sitting there in the middle, like, okay, so what are we going to do? And usually no one has an answer to that. And it's like, okay, we'll tell you what, since we don't have an answer now, we need to meet again. So we had to do that, few iterations of that throughout the week. And with that, again, each day, I'm drained by the end of the day because we're doing these 2 3 hour requirement gathering meetings because we're trying to nail down this new product. No one's really sure what they want. They can't come to an agreement on it. And even some of the requirements that they have aren't really part of this particular project, but it probably should be part of another project. So that's when things get a little crazy. And by the time I'm off, I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to do anything with music, which creates the problem for me because music has always been my plan A. I'm one of those type of people where I'm pretty confident that I will eventually achieve the goals that I do have set for myself. But sometimes things happen. You have to be realistic about it. So I wanted that plan B. Only problem is I feel like I stayed in that plan B a little too long because now I have a master's degree in computer science and I've been doing this for over 10 years and I'm just now getting back into doing my music, which the good aspect of it is I'm not starting from scratch as far as how to create music. I have skill when it comes to production, mixing, and mastering. Obviously, those things are getting better, which is awesome. As well as writing new material. I really enjoy writing music, and so that part's been really fun. But now I have to worry about another factor, which wasn't always in place when it came to being an independent artist back when I was 16. And that other piece is content creation. So, content creation definitely adds an additional, I guess you could say, job to the overall process of being an independent artist, which I don't hate because I do enjoy making videos. I have a photography company that does photos and videos. So that skill is something that I can transmute into what I'm doing with the music thing. So that doesn't make it terrible. But I think the issue that I'm having right now is I set some pretty extreme goals for myself, which I don't really want to share right now because I don't want to jinx them. But one of the goals that I can share is that I want to do one song a week. Now, I know there are a lot of artists who are independent artists and they will put out a song every single week, which I think is awesome. That's crazy talented. And I think it takes a lot of passion to do that. But personally, I have an issue where I'm really OCD when it comes to the things that I create. So for me personally, I think creating a song a week and sitting on that song in order to make tweaks and that sort of thing is what I like to do because I'm more of a I want to make sure this is as perfect as I can get it type person. But the second goal that I have set for myself, besides creating one new song every week, is I will release one new single every new moon. I'm spiritual in nature and I believe in the symbolism of the new moon, and I like to drop projects on the new moon for the growth phase of that. So that's what I've been trying to stick to. So far, I just started doing this back in March. I started releasing singles. I missed my May date, but I did get one for June, and now July is coming up, so I got to get to work on that. So therefore, I can ensure that I hit that goal. And those are things that I want to be pretty consistent with. I'm one of those people where if I set a goal for myself, I really do my best to stick to those goals because I believe that's how you achieve them. So as of right now, though, because of the way last week went and some other things that happened in the previous weeks, I am officially 2 songs in the hole, and we're about to go into a new week. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do 3 songs in this upcoming week, which I think it's possible considering the fact that the one song that I do have, it is almost done. It just really needs to be recorded and mixed and mastered, that sort of thing. So that helps a little bit, but I do need to get the other one done that should have been done this week. I'm hoping that next week at work will go a little easier considering we have most of the requirements nailed down, and now we'll probably move into building the project. One of the things that I wanted to touch on that I'm seeing go around a lot is the anti hustle culture. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I believe in the hustle and I believe in the hustle culture. And what I mean by that is I think that if you, okay, let's not even start there. Let's start here, right? Let's start here. I believe that we've gotten to a place in society where it almost seems impossible to live a very decent life, which I think everyone should have, with just one income. It's gotten really complicated to do that. And it's almost like you have to have those multiple streams of income in order to do what it is that you want to do, which I think is unfair. I think we should be able to be at a place where people can work one job and be able to be sustainable with that one job and have a decent life, and have the basic necessities that everyone should have. But that just realistically it isn't where we are right now. So with that being said, you have other people who are like, hey, well, you need to go hustle and you need to have multiple streams of income in order to create this, all that stuff. That stuff is awesome. I think that stuff is great because that's my mentality. I believe that working hard and doing the things that you enjoy doing when you're hustling is a benefit. However, though, I don't think that that's for everyone because some people don't like doing that. And again, I don't think it's necessary for them to have to do that. You shouldn't have to. I think the whole hustle mentality should come into place when you enjoy it. Because like me personally, I think I'm wired weird. And what I mean by that is I like that. It's something that sparks for me whenever I feel like I'm pressed up against a wall. I do some pretty crazy things when it comes to achieving goals. So I like to push myself really, really hard because it brings out whatever that ability is that allows me to do some pretty extraordinary things, in my opinion. So I like the idea of hustling and having the multiple streams of income and that sort of thing. But again, I don't think that's for everybody, and no one should be forced into that particular way of living. I think everyone should be able to do life without having to have multiple streams of income, but have the option to do it if you want to. So that's my take on that. And that's going to be my take on this video. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my little ramble. Hope that you'll like and subscribe and join the family and join the journey. Thank you guys for watching.